Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. Our guest of today is Guy, and he's the co-founder and CTO at Box3. And yeah, Guy, why don't you tell a little bit more about yourself and what the company is doing?
Yeah, sure. Been in the tech industry sort of 25 plus years. Worked my way from doing databases and that side of things, and then slowly moved over to lots of different others. So I kind of started in data, moved across into lots of infrastructure and also the program and programming. From a startup, ended up in a number of big SIs. So I worked for the likes of Siemens and Atos and Fujitsu. And then moved over into more consulting, so the likes of PwC. I've also spent a bit of time in some of the tech companies, so I spent a number of years in AWS. So I have a very wide range of technical knowledge and technical experience. I've had some pretty, I'm lucky, I've had some really cool programs that I've been on in the past. For example, worked on BBC iPlayer in the past as well. And have also worked in a lot of public sector and government in the UK on the likes of HMRC and those sort of accounts.
Very nice. And towards like what kind of people are you guys serving with Box3?
So because I came from the big SIs and consulting, one of the things that frustrated me, and the same with my co-founders, was making sure that what was delivered for a customer can actually be delivered and actually is delivered in the end of the day. It's not, I think, consulting has a bad rap, or quite often creating lots of PowerPoint slides with information, but is it really real, and can it actually be done in the back end? Can it actually be turned into a program, and can it actually be used and turned into something that a customer can actually make happen? And so I was really passionate about starting something that allowed me to do that, and allowed me to really be involved in helping and assessing what a customer really wants, and then moving that through to actually delivering. So my co-founders, for example, are very much in the delivery space, run large programs, and myself, I bring all the technical expertise, and then we pulled a a team around us to make sure that we deliver very experienced people.
Yeah, I like it how the kind of two strengths come together. What you also say, like it's kind of it started very organically from like your own frustration, right? Like you experiencing certain things where you can see a solution and boom, you take action on that. It's not just, hey, I want to be like a founder, let's just do something. No, you actually, I think this is the best way to start a company. Once you actually know from your own experience what you're doing, it's a market fit because you saw it with your own eyes.
Yeah, it's those frustrations and making sure you can actually act on them.
Yeah.
For me, it was really important. My co-founder it was that fresh air that I was able to do the technical roles. They were able to really drive the programs, and that just made the fit happen. And that's what has become really important.
Very nice. And how are you guys acquiring customers at the moment with the company?
Well, public sector in the UK is kind of hard work because we do a lot of central government and public sector. Obviously, we use a lot of the frameworks because, you have to go through and find the frameworks, make sure you're on the frameworks. But a lot of what we do is personal engagements. Because we've been in the industry a long time,
Yeah.
it's about our personal contacts and the people that we know that we can then approach to then start to actually look at a piece of work.
Very nice. And from all the people you are serving, it's mostly in the public sector.
I say that, but we also got some private sector customers now that have happened. Again, it's almost organically because of who we know and what we do. And also some of the partners that we work with and not work for. And that's the other thing. I've tried to make sure that we're kind of passionate about being not aligning ourselves with a certain partner. So I said, I worked with AWS in the past. We worked with ServiceNow in the past, but we haven't become AWS partners or ServiceNow partners. But they're actually calling on us to do work where their partners can't do it. And that's been really important. We're really agnostic about the technology. Again, really focusing on who the customer is.
Yeah, very nice. I think it's really like important in business that you kind of choose who you want to work with, right? And be really picky because that's the way how you can actually deliver the most value towards the people you are serving.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. And yeah, from your own experience, right? Like you guys growing the company towards where it is right now. What is some of the biggest challenges you guys have faced towards growing the company towards where it is right now? Maybe pick one challenge and how did you solve it?
I think the challenge, especially at the moment, the challenge is changing in the UK, lots of changing economic situations, lots of changes in the political landscape. Probably I've been doing this for a while now, and it's probably one of the hardest environments that I could have had a startup in. And if you look at politically the impact that that's having on all the businesses especially in the UK at the moment, it's quite it's quite fundamental actually. So starting in that has been the biggest challenge for us.
Yeah.
And also just getting customers to make decisions. We can move fast. Quite often they can't move as fast as we can. So, we find ourselves in a situation where a customer says, we really like you to do this and we want you to start next week. And we say, okay, yeah, we'll start next week. We'll have people on the ground on Monday. They come back and they go, yeah, we can't do that because of our procurement cycles and those. So those are the challenging parts, especially when you're a fast moving and small company.
Yeah, very interesting. And that's always the part, right? Especially when you are a startup, like what are the ways how you can grow as fast as possible? And there are always challenges, right? I'm talking to a lot of founders, and everyone has their own challenges in their unique way. And where do you feel like, if you're looking at I think that's very common right now, like at the political and economic situation in the UK. What do you see like is the biggest kind of things which you feel like is making the biggest impact in this situation which is going on right now?
So I think there's a huge amount around. I see a lot of people, a lot of colleagues that I know that are very, very talented and very experienced that have lost their jobs. The job market has become really difficult. But I also see that as a challenge because that allows me to be able to go after people that I probably wouldn't have got in the past.
Yeah,
But just some assurity, it's going to come, but the assurity for what's happening in government that allows people to make decisions, both private sector and public sector.
yeah,
So that's the fundamental thing that's holding things back at the moment.
yeah.
Once that starts happening, I think, we've already started seeing quite a bit of movement, especially in the last few months. Yes, it's coming up to the end of financial as well. So people are starting to really make decisions now. So just hopefully that carries on because that'll be the growth factor really for us.
Very nice. And then towards talking about growth factor, right? What are some of the things you guys are looking forward to, let's say in the next 6 to 12 months from now?
I think the phenomenal growth that we've had from a technology perspective, to me, I started with Cloud Journey quite early in like 2009 from a technology perspective. But it feels like we're starting again from a technology perspective with especially agentic AI and how that's influencing customers, and influencing the way they're procuring, the way they're doing things. The next 12 months, I think, will fundamentally change how things are going to be working and acting and how customers are working. I think that's a great opportunity because it opens up the market to, how you could be able to solve those problems for customers.
Yeah, very nice. So like lots of exciting times ahead if we look into the future. Very nice. And then let's say from all your experience, right? Like you being a CTO, you co-founding this company, all the challenges, kind of problems you guys are solving. I think like as a founder, it's just a lot of like problem solving, like kind of flying an airplane at the same time learning how to fly the airplane on the go, right? Then if you're looking back at all the knowledge you've learned, right? And there are a lot of founders watching this podcast. What's one piece of wisdom which you could give away to these founders who are watching this podcast right now and they can start implementing it straight away in their business, in their life after they are done watching a podcast? What kind of advice would you give to those people?
Just be aware that you're going to have to roll your sleeves up and do everything. I never really suspected that I'd be doing a lot of marketing, for example, right? I've had to roll my sleeves up and get involved. And then really look at the people that are around you that can support you. I think that has been the biggest for me. People that you wouldn't even have expected to be able to support you. Supporting you with skills, with knowledge. Sometimes, you don't have an answer for something. You can phone somebody up and say, what would you do in this situation? Because you have those skills and expertise. That would be, make sure that those people are around you and you can actually call on them. That's been the key for us to be able to actually do anything really.
I love how you're saying it. So first of all, like it's gonna acquire a lot of responsibility. So you might even do more, which you maybe think you can, right? Like what you're saying with your marketing. And at the same time, just as a founder, which I think is very nice for a lot of people, open your eyes, right? Because especially as a founder, you can be very much locked into your own little bubble. But what you're saying is, yes, it's important, like take the responsibility, but at the same time, open up your eyes around you, because there's a ton of opportunities around you with, for like people who could potentially help you out. You can ask for help if you don't know something. Just look around you, and there will always be that kind of next little step forwards, right, towards where you want to go.
Yeah, and I'd add that also look at the opportunity that you're trying to, you may have a firm view of what you want to accomplish for your customers. There's things get thrown in on the side. I mean, I'll give you an example. I've never been involved in the procurement side of IT, not a huge amount, other than being somebody that responded to it. We've been able to pivot to actually making that a fundamental part of what we do as well. I never expected that. So be able to, as a founder, be able to understand that you need to be able to pivot to where essentially where, the business is and what customers are asking.
Yeah, I love that. And Guy, what are some of the ways for the people and who are watching this podcast right now? What are some of the ways they can connect either with you or the company?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite hard sometimes because lots of people reach out. That's the other thing. There's a lot of noise. So be specific about the questions. If you want to, if you want to reach out and have a conversation because you've watched what we talk about, but don't just sort of send in a LinkedIn request, for example, because I probably get 100 a day, right? If not more. Be really pointed about what you want to ask and what you want to discuss, because that's key. And also talk about what you can help with as well, because again, it's all about creating a kind of a culture of people that can talk to each other. Bring that to the table, and that really help with the starting of a conversation, because you have to get this conversation started, and those sort of things will help with the starting. But I'm
Love it.
always up
Yeah.
for any conversation with anyone of any age to really understand, because to me, you learn from anyone in those sort of scenarios.
Yeah, love how you're saying that. Guy, thanks so much for being on the podcast, sharing about the company, sharing
No
your own
problem.
personal lessons. For the people watching this podcast right now, I'm going to make sure to put the links of Guy and the company down in the description below so you can easily find it. Everyone who's watching the podcast, thanks for tuning in and see you all in the next episode. Thank you, Guy.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.